The black American Express Centurion card hit the marble counter with a soft click, and that's when everything went wrong. Jamal Crawford was standing in the lobby of the Belmont Grand Hotel in Manhattan, trying to check into a suite he'd reserved 3 weeks ago. The same suite where tomorrow morning he'd be signing a $3.8 billion merger deal that would create the largest tech infrastructure company in North America. But right now, at 9:30 p.m. on a Tuesday, the front desk clerk was staring at his card like he'd just handed her Monopoly money. "Sir," the clerk said, her voice dripping with barely concealed amusement. Her name tag read, Stephanie Chen. "This card, were you sure it's yours?" Jamal blinked. He'd just flown in from San Francisco, rushed through LaGuardia in rush hour traffic, and now this. "Yes, I'm sure. It's my card. Can you please just run it?" Stephanie picked up the card between 2 fingers like it might be contaminated, held it up to the light and actually laughed. Not a polite chuckle, a full laugh. "Right. And I'm Oprah Winfrey." She turned to her colleague, a young guy named Brad, according to his tag. "Brad, come look at this. This gentleman is trying to use what he says is a black card." Brad walked over, looked at Jamal, looked at the card, and smirked. "Dude, those cards are invitation only. They go to like actual billionaires and celebrities. No offense, but..." He gestured vaguely at Jamal's appearance. Jeans, plain black t-shirt, Nike sneakers, and a backpack. He looked like a college student, not the CEO of Crawford Technologies. "I understand how it looks," Jamal said, keeping his voice level. "But if you'll just run the card, you'll see it's legitimate. I have a reservation under Jamal Crawford." "Jamal Crawford?" Stephanie typed into her computer, then frowned. "I see a reservation, but there must be some mistake. That's a $15,000 per night suite. The presidential suite. There's no way." "There's no way what?" Jamal asked, his voice getting quieter. The dangerous kind of quiet. Stephanie exchanged a look with Brad. "Sir, I think you might have someone else's card. Or maybe it's a really good fake. We've had issues with fraud before. I'm going to need to see multiple forms of ID. And honestly, I'm not comfortable running this card without speaking to my manager." A small crowd was starting to gather. Other guests checking in. Bellhops pausing with luggage, the concierge glancing over with concern. Jamal felt every eye on him, and he knew exactly what they were thinking. He'd felt this his entire life. From growing up in Atlanta to building his first company in a garage to sitting in boardrooms where he was the only black face at the table. "Run the card," Jamal said, his voice steel now. "Or get your manager. But do something, because I've had a very long day." Stephanie's face hardened. "Sir, I don't appreciate your tone. I'm trying to protect you from potential fraud." That's when Jamal noticed something. The woman who'd checked in right before him, a white woman in yoga pants and a designer bag, had paid with the exact same card. He'd seen the distinctive black metal, watched Stephanie process it without a single question, smile warmly and hand over the keys with a cheerful, "Enjoy your stay, Mrs. Peterson." "The woman before me," Jamal said slowly. "You didn't ask her for extra ID." "That's different," Stephanie said quickly. "She's a regular guest. Run the card." Stephanie's hand moved toward the phone instead. "I'm calling security." And that's when Jamal's phone buzzed in his pocket. He pulled it out, saw the name on the screen, and almost laughed. Because the universe has a sense of timing. "Hold that thought," he said to Stephanie. He answered the call and put it on speaker. "Richard, hey, bad timing, man. I'm dealing with something." The voice that came through the speaker was instantly recognizable to anyone in business. Richard Branson. "Yes, that Richard Branson."
You know, Just wanted to confirm we're still on for breakfast tomorrow before the signing. I'm flying in tonight, staying at the Belmont Grand.
Wait, aren't you staying there too? Jamal looked directly at Stephanie, whose face had gone from annoyed to pale in about 3 seconds. I'm trying to, Richard. Currently having some issues, checking in. Apparently my credit card looks suspicious. There was a pause. Your black card? The one American Express gave you last year at the same dinner, where they gave me mine. That black card? That's the one. Let me talk to whoever's giving you trouble. Jamal held out the phone to Stephanie. She stared at it like it was a snake. He'd like to speak with you. Stephanie took the phone with shaking hands. Hello? This is Richard Branson. To whom am I speaking? Stephanie Chen, sir, front desk manager. Stephanie, the man standing in front of you is Jamal Crawford. He's the CEO of Crawford Technologies, worth approximately $4.7 billion, according to the last Forbes estimate, though I think they're lowballing him. Tomorrow morning he's signing the largest tech infrastructure deal in the past decade, and you're telling me his credit card looks suspicious. Stephanie's face had moved past pale and was now approaching green. I didn't know. You didn't ask. Richard's voice was sharp now. You made an assumption. Now let me tell you something else. That merger he's signing tomorrow, part of the deal involves a $200 million renovation contract for the Belmont Grand and 6 other properties in the Pinnacle Hotel Group. I know this because I'm an investor in the acquiring company, so you might want to think very carefully about how you proceed in the next 30 seconds. Stephanie looked at Brad, who had backed up so far he was practically behind a potted plant. She looked at Jamal, who was now leaning against the counter with his arms crossed, his expression unreadable, and then she looked at her computer screen, where Jamal's reservation was still pulled up, showing a 3-week booking in the presidential suite with a total cost of $315,000. Mr. Branson, I sincerely apologize. Don't apologize to me. I'm not the one you humiliated in front of a lobby full of people. She handed the phone back to Jamal like it was burning her hand. Mr. Crawford, I am so sorry. I made a terrible mistake. Let me check you in immediately. Please. Your suite is ready. Jamal took the phone. Richard, I'll call you back. He ended the call and slipped the phone into his pocket. Then he picked up his black card from where it still sat on the counter and held it up to the light, examining it the same way Stephanie had. You know what's interesting about this card, he said, his voice conversational now. American Express doesn't advertise it. You can't apply for it. They come to you, and they only give it to about 100,000 people in the entire world. People who spend at least $250,000 a year. But here's what's really interesting. He placed the card back on the counter, but he didn't slide it to her. He just left it there. You saw this exact card 20 minutes ago, processed it without a single question. The only difference was the color of the hand holding it. He let that sit for a moment. So here's what's going to happen. You're going to cancel my reservation. All 3 weeks of it. Stephanie's eyes went wide. Mr. Crawford, please, I made a mistake. You made a choice, Jamal corrected. And now I'm making one. Cancel it. She clicked her mouse, hands trembling. It's cancelled. Good. Now I want you to call your general manager. What's his name? Douglas Whitmore, she whispered. Call Douglas. Tell him Jamal Crawford is standing in his lobby and he has exactly 10 minutes to get down here before I walk out that door and make a phone call of my own. Brad, still hiding behind his plant, found his voice. Sir, Mr. Whitmore is off tonight. He's at home. Then he better drive fast, Jamal said. 9 minutes now. The lobby had gone completely silent. Every guest, every employee, everyone was watching. Someone definitely had their phone out recording. Stephanie grabbed the phone and made the call, her voice shaking as she explained the situation. Douglas Whitmore arrived in 8 minutes, still in sweatpants and a polo shirt, looking like he'd broken several traffic laws getting there. He was a short man, balding, with the kind of face that probably smiled a lot under normal circumstances. Right now, he looked like he might throw up. "Mr. Crawford," he said, slightly out of breath, "I cannot apologize enough for what happened here tonight. This is absolutely unacceptable, and I take full responsibility. Do you know what I was doing 3 hours ago?" Jamal interrupted. Douglas blinked. "Sir, I was in a conference room with my legal team and the executives from Pinnacle Hotel Group, finalizing the details of tomorrow's merger. $3.8 billion. My company acquires their company. We become the largest tech infrastructure provider in the hospitality industry. Hotels, resorts, casinos, all of it. Smart room technology, integrated booking systems, AI-driven customer service, the whole package." Douglas's face somehow got even paler. "Part of that deal," Jamal continued, "includes a $200 million technology upgrade across Pinnacle's entire portfolio. 12 properties, including this one. Mr. Crawford, please." "But here's the thing, Douglas. That contract isn't signed yet. Won't be signed until 9 a.m. tomorrow, and I'm having second thoughts. Sir, what happened here tonight does not reflect our values." "Doesn't it?" Jamal's voice cut through the lobby like a knife. "Because here's what I think. I think this happens all the time. I think people who look like me get questioned, get doubted, get treated like criminals until they prove they're not. And I think your staff has done this before and they'll do it again because there's no real consequence." He pulled out his phone. "So let's create one. I'm going to call my lawyers, tell them to restructure the deal, remove the Belmont Grand from the renovation contract. That's about $30 million you just lost. And then I'm going to call my board, tell them I have concerns about Pinnacle's company culture. Maybe we need to renegotiate. Maybe we need to walk away entirely." Douglas actually staggered. "Mr. Crawford, that deal represents hundreds of jobs. It represents the future of this company. Should have thought about that before your employees decided to play detective with my credit card." The lobby was so quiet you could hear the ventilation system humming. Douglas looked at Stephanie, who had tears running down her face. He looked at Brad, who was still partially hidden behind the plant. Then he looked back at Jamal. "What can I do?" Douglas asked, and his voice cracked. "Please, tell me what I can do to make this right." Jamal let the silence stretch, let them all feel it. Then he spoke. "Fire them both, right now, in front of everyone." Stephanie made a sound like she'd been punched. "Mr. Crawford, please. I have student loans, I have rent, and I have dignity," Jamal said, looking directly at her, "which you tried to take from me the moment you saw my face and decided I couldn't possibly be who I said I was. You humiliated me in front of all these people, so now you get to feel what that's like." Douglas closed his eyes for a long moment. When he opened them, they were wet. "Stephanie Chen, Brad Morrison, you're terminated effective immediately. Security will escort you out. You'll receive information about your final paychecks and Cobra within 48 hours. Stephanie was crying openly now. Brad looked like he might pass out. 2 security guards appeared and quietly led them toward the back offices. The lobby remained frozen. "Now," Jamal said to Douglas, "here's what else is going to happen. You're going to implement mandatory bias training for every employee in this hotel. Real training, not some PowerPoint presentation they click through. And you're going to create a reporting system where guests can flag discriminatory treatment. And every single report gets reviewed by corporate. Absolutely, Douglas said immediately. Consider it done. And one more thing. Jamal pulled out a business card and handed it to Douglas. That's the contact information for Marcus Williams. He's 24, just graduated from Howard University with a degree in hospitality management, and he's been applying to every hotel in this city for 3 months without a single callback. You're going to hire him, you're going to put him in a management training program, and you're going to pay him whatever you were paying. Stephanie plus 20%. Douglas stared at the card, then at Jamal. How do you know Marcus Williams? I don't. I met him 2 weeks ago at a tech conference where he was working a catering gig to pay his bills. Smart kid, good instincts. Told me he couldn't get hired because he didn't fit the image hotels were looking for. Jamal's expression hardened. I wonder what that means. He starts Monday, Douglas said quietly. Good. Jamal picked up his black card and slid it back into his wallet. Now I'm going to walk out of here, check into the Four Seasons down the street, and tomorrow morning I'm going to sit down with your CEO and decide whether this deal goes forward or dies. He turned to leave, then paused and looked back at Douglas. You want to know the really crazy part? I was actually excited to stay here. My mom used to clean rooms at a Pinnacle hotel in Atlanta when I was a kid. I used to do my homework in the break room while she worked. When I made my first million, I promised myself that one day I'd stay in the nicest room in the nicest Pinnacle hotel. Tonight was supposed to be that night. Douglas's face crumpled. Mr. Crawford, make the changes, Douglas. Real changes. Because next time it might be someone who doesn't have Richard Branson's phone number. Someone who can't fight back. And they deserve better than this. Everyone does. Jamal walked out of the Belmont Grand Hotel and didn't look back. The next morning, the merger went through, but the contract was restructured. The Belmont Grand got their $30 million technology upgrade, but with conditions. Every employee had to complete bias training within 30 days or be terminated. The hotel had to submit quarterly diversity reports, and Marcus Williams was named assistant general manager with a clear path to GM within 2 years. Stephanie Chen and Brad Morrison never worked in hospitality again. The video of the incident went viral, and their names became a cautionary tale in hotel management courses across the country. And Jamal? He never stayed at the Belmont Grand. He didn't need to, because 6 months later he bought the entire Pinnacle Hotel Group outright for $8.2 billion, making him the first black majority owner of a major hotel chain in American history. His mom cried when he told her. Then she asked if she could stay in the presidential suite just once. He told her she could stay there whenever she wanted, for free, for the rest of her life, because that's what power really looks like. Not the ability to destroy people, the ability to change systems so that what happened to you never happens to anyone else. That black card, it opened more than just hotel rooms. It opened the door to a future where maybe, just maybe, people would be judged by their character instead of their appearance. And sometimes, justice doesn't just feel good. Sometimes, it changes everything.